After spending spring break in Puerto Rico, the IPFW men's volleyball team returns home to the Gates Sports Center this week for 3 MIVA conference matches. Wednesday, the Mastodons will take on in-state rival Ball State before hosting Grand Canyon University from Phoenix, Arizona, Friday and Saturday. I'll be joined this week by head men's volleyball coach Ryan Perrotte, as well as sophomore Alex Harthaller during the Spotlight segment. I'm your host, Jordan Armstrong. Stay tuned for more here on VolleyDons Weekly on CTV. Welcome back to VolleyDons Weekly. A quick shout out to our sponsors, Alco, Active Ankle, Asics, Glenbrook Dodge, and Hyatt Place. Last week, the IPFW men's volleyball team traveled to Puerto Rico for spring break, but before they embarked on that trip, the Mastodons had 2 home matches against NAIA opponent Lourdes University and EIVA newcomer Charleston University. I'm joined now by head men's volleyball coach Ryan Perrotte, and a quick recap of those 2 matches before we get into talking about our wonderful time in Puerto Rico. Friday night, we ended up losing at the hands of Lourdes University, and then Saturday, the team was able to battle back and defeat Charleston University. 2 matches before we got to Puerto Rico, not necessarily the outcome that we wanted, especially losing Friday night, but we were successful Saturday night. What was the difference between the 2 matches?
It's been so long, I don't even remember the loss to Lourdes. It's been so long. Was that a year ago? Seems like a year ago. No, it probably wasn't.
About 2 weeks.
Well, the difference between the 2 nights is the fact that your guest in the Spotlight played Saturday and didn't play on Friday. That's the difference.
True, Alex Harthaller returning to action after being injured for a majority of the first half of the MIVA and actually the first half of the entire season, making his, in a way, season debut Saturday, or season re-debut, if that's even a thing, Saturday compared to earlier in the season. And then he also continued to play as we went down to Puerto Rico too. So what was important about getting Alex integrated back into the matches for us?
Well, and he'll talk about it in much greater detail. But I had to make the move after the loss to Lourdes, a nice NAIA school out of Toledo, for 2 reasons. Number one, our team's chemistry and or on-court cohesion wasn't very good. And the quality of play wasn't very good. They were in search of something or someone. And Alex was the guy. Number 2 is the fact that Alex had to slowly progress to return to the court because of his shoulder. And it's not like I just threw him out there and said, hey, go swing at 100 balls and go play 3 sets. It's been a progression for him. And he has responded very nicely. His shoulder has responded pretty nicely. It's held up. Obviously going to be very difficult this week when you play 3 matches in 4 nights, all against top conference opponents like Ball State and Grand Canyon. So I wanted to spend the time before spring break and then during spring break with Alex to try and get that shoulder up to his top notch.
So then after the matches preceding spring break, Sunday, the team traveled to Puerto Rico. Long day of travel, but we were able to get in. All travel went well. No problems at the hotel, anything like that. And then we practiced Monday at University of Puerto Rico, Rio Piedras. And then we played them both Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday, the Mastodons were successful, winning in 4 sets, and then a little bit of a barn burner type match, but Mastodons were successful again. Thursday, winning in 5 sets. What was it about those 2 matches? I know that we played a lot of guys, tried to solidify our lineup a little bit more, but also get everyone some playing time and some rest. So what was it about those 2 matches that really inspired you about the potential this team has towards the second half of the MIVA conference season?
Well, before I answer that question, it's always funny. I was born on an airplane. It's very funny about travel. It's never a long travel when you're getting to your destination for enjoyment. It never is, except when you're coming home. It's always a long day of travel. I just got home back to Fort Wayne. It's always a long travel, but it's never a long travel when you're heading to Paradise.
Well, it's also Puerto Rico compared to Fort Wayne.
That's the other thing, too. I think it's really funny and comical. The takeaways that I got from Puerto Rico is this. Number 1 is the fact that we showed some grit. UPR is a very difficult team to play. They're undersized, they have unbelievable ball control, they're athletic, and they're skilled. So I like the fact that we had to grind and get tested. I think that's going to be the key moving into the second half of our MIVA conference. The second thing is I like some of the production for the people that came off the bench in roles. I truly think that's going to be a staple for us the second half of the season. We can expect guys like Alex, even Tony Price on the left side, Andy Sellen on the right, to just play these, there's countless amounts of points and sets and games for us, and expect not to give them some sort of breather. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. The third thing I actually liked is the fact that something that we have been preaching, I guess, for a little while in regards to getting off the schneid, if you will, and that's getting some middle production. And we finally got that, both from three people: Kyle Fitzgerald, Jason Zaleski, and David Frazee. I thought it was very nice that they finally got some production out of the middle. And when you put those things together, now you're on a 3-match win streak with Charleston, the 2 Puerto Rican teams. You're feeling good about yourself going into the second half of the conference.
Let's talk about the middle production more, because that is something that we've talked about so much. At least from my opinion, it wasn't just the offensive numbers, which were good at times and bad at other times, but it seemed like there was a real balance amongst the middles, both offensively and defensively, especially with our defensive effort from our middles blocking balls, getting both block assists on the outside with the outsides, and also making some solo block moves, especially during that first match against UPR.
Well, the balance part comes from our new setter, Gabriel Quinones. He has distributed the volleyball very nicely to our team. He's executed a nice game plan. We started off balanced throughout the early part of the season with Michael Keegan, and then we've kind of gotten away from that. Partly because we were losing and he was trying to find a simple solution to the question. Said Andy all the time, and got away from balance, and that really hurt us. And Gabriel's been able to distribute the ball better. The other part of that is what you talk about, and there are 2 parts of the game that we really talk about all the time with our balance or imbalance. The side-out portion of the game where you receive serve, or the transition part once the rally has started. The side-out game has gotten better. The transition game is still in a stalemate. That needs to get better.
For sure, and hopefully through some practice that we had yesterday and today, we'll definitely be able to do that, especially heading into Ball State tomorrow on Wednesday, and then Grand Canyon on both Friday and Saturday. But we'll talk about those 2 matches a little bit.
And quickly, because I know you got to go to break, transition's going to be the key to beat Ball State. Side-out's going to be the key to beat Grand Canyon.
It is also, just to finish up the Puerto Rico part of the conversation, it wasn't all just volleyball. We got to enjoy a lot of what the island of Puerto Rico has to offer. Talk a little bit about the importance of getting down there to not only relax a little bit, but also intermingle with some alumni and enjoy a nice family day that we kind of got to enjoy on Wednesday.
3 days of volleyball. Had a chance to meet our alums, former players that played here under Coach Ball back in the early 90s, some of my former teammates that played, Piqui Soto, Javier Escobar, Angel Ruiz, Felipe Relat, Juan Ortiz was there. It was wonderful to see them all. It was great that they were able to come out and support our team play. It was also great that a group of students from IPFW came to watch us play. They did some research in Bayamon, Puerto Rico. They studied manatees, of all things, and then they came to our match on Thursday. It was great to get out to see all the families from our Puerto Rican players. We had a very nice dinner at Luis Bertrand's place as well. Did some fundraising, got to go to the rainforest, got to go to several beaches. That was amazing. Got to go see the fort in Old San Juan, got to go see San Juan. So we did so much stuff jam-packed within 6 days that it would make your head spin. But it was great because it was intense with the volleyball, but also had moments of relaxation, and that's what these guys need for the second half of the season.
And we'll hope that all of that fun and relaxation, along with a little bit of volleyball, will pay off for the Mastodons as we start MIVA conference play again this week. Big thanks to Rock for not only the trip to Puerto Rico, but also joining us for the first segment again. We'll be joined in the spotlight by sophomore outside hitter Alex Harthaller. I'm your host, Jordan Armstrong. Stay tuned for more on VolleyDons Weekly.
So everybody said to me, you are really going to paint in public and people can talk to you and ask questions and stuff? And I said, whatever it takes, I will do it. What's central to my work is individuality. When you look at another person and they're looking back at you and you realize the entire universe is behind those eyes, it's an authentic miracle. And individuality is such an incredible thing. Everybody is so different.
Welcome back to VolleyDons Weekly. Joining me in this week's Spotlight segment is sophomore outside hitter Alex Harthaller from Innsbruck, Austria. Welcome to the show, Alex. Glad to have you back after your appearance last year, and it's also great to have you back on the court playing for us again after being injured for the early parts of the season.
Yeah, that's obviously a great feeling, finally being back. I've been out for like almost 2 months now. As you said, almost the whole season. I played one game against Stanford in the very beginning, like first weekend. And then like sitting out was obviously a tough challenge, but nothing better to be back on the court right now.
So then let's recap the season a little bit from your perspective. Obviously, you played against Stanford, but you were injured for all of that time. How are you doing physically? I know we, like Rock talked about in the first segment, kind of progressing you back a little bit here and there, but you've been practicing for the better part of 2.5, almost 3 full weeks, and then just started playing more recently. So how did you being integrated back into practice prepare you for being able to play not only Saturday against Charleston, but also the past week down in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, being out for, as I say, 1.5, 2 months obviously takes like your rhythm, takes you out of the game quite a bit. I've been around all the time. I've been in practice. I've been around the team. I've seen it, but it's a difference to being on the court. So being back early, like before playing, like this 1.5, 2 weeks before, and being able to get some reps, get the rhythm back was very important, because I'm still a little bit looking for like getting back fully to like where I was before, where I was last year. But I think we're doing a great job in this process. It's not a thing and it works on one day and it doesn't work the other day. It's been like a 2-month process now, starting from not doing anything to rehab every week and then to practice now. And now we increase like the frequency, increase the amounts of swings I take. And so I think we're in a good way to get back to game shape and get me back to being able to play a full game and go 100%.
Now, in all 3 of the matches that you've played so far, you've played pretty much 1.5 to 2 full sets, a little over two sets during our last match down in Puerto Rico. How would you personally rate your performance, not only from a outcome basis, from how productive you've been, how well you've been passing, but also how you have felt both physically and mentally back on the court?
I think it was very important to get that match kind of feeling back, because it's a difference if it's practice or match, obviously. Like you can practice like hundreds of hours and you will never get to that game feeling when it's on, like Friday night, Saturday night when the game is on. It's a little bit different. So getting that experience against Charleston and then in Puerto Rico again obviously helps me a lot, getting the rhythm. And I think it was pretty good in terms of getting back into the team. I felt quite comfortable being on the court, and also playing wise, even though I like lack some rhythm, I think the team did a great job in integrating me as well. So all in all, I was very happy with these 3 games. Like Charleston, I was a little bit surprised that it went that smooth from the beginning, and then in Puerto Rico was more integrated in the team already. So I knew what was coming up, but I'm still happy how it goes, and I'm looking forward to being like on the court like from now onwards.
What is it now that you're making your way back onto the court, hopefully for longer than just 2 sets? As we said, we're building you up here and there, but what is it that you're hoping to be able to bring to the team after being off the court for so long and seeing not only how the team developed as the season went on, but also some of the areas in which we struggled with as a team to be successful and win a couple more sets and a couple of matches?
I think that was one of the good things, if you can say it like this, that I had the opportunity to watch our team way more than I would normally, because seeing it from the outside, not being able to change it, gives you a different view and a different perspective on the team. So like watching us these weeks and watching us struggle too sometimes helped me a lot in like figuring out and what I think we need in some situations. And I think and I hope I can bring some of that to the team, like especially leadership in the crunch time moments. We've been struggling a lot, come up point 20 and onwards, 23 all these situations. And like I think and I hope I can be there when it counts in 23 all and put the ball away, and also be there for our players, because we are like dealing a lot of times, like we lose a first set tight and then we're not able to bounce back. So being there as a personality on the court, talking to our guys, and helping to keep the spirit up, I hope I can be a factor in this respect.
Now, you talked a little bit about getting integrated back with the team, but team integration goes a lot further than just practice and being in matches and everything. So the trip to Puerto Rico definitely was really huge for that, because it was the team being completely together for an 8-day stretch. Talk about a little bit about what we did while we were on the road, and all of those types of activities that not only helped you guys relax, but also kind of made you guys bond a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. In the beginning of the year, when the team traveled a lot, I wasn't there. So we had like 4 weekends in a row where the team was on the road and was together for like 2-3 days consecutively. And me not being there obviously didn't like help me to get into the team. So this trip to Puerto Rico was, as you said, huge for me to bond and to get fully integrated, because all the guys now, they know I'm back. They know I'm back on the court and as a team member. So being there, we had a lot of off time where we can hang out with the guys from the team, go to the beach, do some stuff in the hotel, and just, as I said, bond. And it's not, you don't necessarily have to do something together. It's just like hanging out together and being around each other the whole week just was major for us to be like bonding like a family again.
Right, and particularly while we were in Puerto Rico, Wednesday and Friday of the week were really big team bonding days, with Wednesday being kind of our adventure day. We went out to the rainforest and El Yuque, and then also went over to Luis Bertrand's house, like Rock was talking about, where his parents cooked a great dinner for us and hosted us, as well as then Friday going to the city of Old San Juan and exploring the fort that was there. What was it about kind of, I mean, you're a world traveler at this point, not only being from Austria, but also all the other countries that you've been to. So what was unique from your perspective about Puerto Rico?
It's a good question. I think Puerto Rico, for once, it's a beautiful island. We have all the beautiful nature, the landscapes. You have mountains, you have rainforest, and you have the beach right next to it. That's a pretty cool thing that you don't see that often, like in that small space. And I think what was special for me was getting all these experience together with the team. Because like you can travel and you see a lot of stuff, but being like, as you said, in the rainforest, being at that waterfall there with the whole team, that was absolutely a special experience. Being there, like having 10, 15 guys down there swimming together in this beautiful waterfall, that was absolutely amazing. And that's the same with everything we did. It's like the factor that you're there with like your teammates and the people that are like most important to you around here was really great to have that.
If you had to pick 1 or 2 moments from the trip this past week for spring break, what would be your top, either your top or your funniest or both moments of the week?
We have a saying in Austria which says, eating brings people together. So the dinner at Luis's house was definitely one of my favorite moments, because we all came together. We had the families of our players, not just the Puerto Ricans, but also like the family Price was there. So we had a great community there. We had dinner, we had some fun together. So it was definitely a great time to bond and like hang out and just have a good time. And another great moment, there's so many moments, it's hard to pick. I think, as I said, the waterfall was one of the moments that really like impressed me, and I liked it a lot.
And real quick here as we wrap up, talk a little bit about what you're studying in school, what you're hoping to get from a degree here at IPFW going forward.
I'm a business major, and I hope I can get a double major in finance and management with a math minor. And it's going good so far. It's obviously a little bit to do, like a little studying to do, and being a student athlete like is challenging sometimes, but it's a privilege for us. So I think we're all happy to have the chance to not just play volleyball, but get a great education next to it.
That's for sure. A big thank you to Alex Harthaller for joining us during our Spotlight segment this week. We'll be back during the third segment, Dishing the Rock, with head men's volleyball coach Ryan Rock Perrotte. Stay tuned for more. VolleyDons Weekly, right here on CTV.
Students at IPFW have the advantage over a larger university in that we are very engaged with them, we know them. We have relatively small class sizes and we really know our students well. And we know their capabilities, we can challenge them. And I just love the environment and the atmosphere here. I just love interacting with students and I like the intellectual stimulation of teaching and research.
Welcome back to VolleyDons Weekly. It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Dishing the Rock, with head men's volleyball coach Ryan Rock Perrotte. Great interview with Alex there during the Spotlight segment, getting some insight on both his personal struggles and thoughts on the season so far, along with his injury, as well as reflecting on the trip to Puerto Rico. Just want to touch on Puerto Rico really quickly one more time, besides the fact that we're obviously missing the 80 degrees and sunshine. And cuisine, definitely. What do you hope that the team can bring from, but I know you said grit before, but is there anything else that you hope that the team will kind of be able to remember from Puerto Rico to help them through tough times during matches going forward?
Well, a trip like that, I would like to think, brings a newfound appreciation for the opportunity given. And that is something that needs to be cherished, especially with the remaining 9 matches of our volleyball season, because I think for most of them, aside from me, I think I was the only person who was in Puerto Rico before, maybe JW. But there needs to be a sense of appreciation because this is a once-in-a-lifetime trip. The team bonding plays such a massive role in regards to that. And it was great for me because I get to see former teammates of mine somewhat, almost 2 decades now. And it's such an unbelievable experience to reunite after so many years to talk about the good old days, or like Bruce Springsteen says, the glory days. And it's so true because it just brings a light of sunshine to your life. And I hope that guys now have a sense of appreciation for the team. And I think that can help them moving forward.
And it makes playing volleyball at Division I level, especially at this institution, so much bigger than just the sport itself.
Absolutely. And I'm really going to try hard to get us to go back to Puerto Rico next year. And it's a very special thing. And as I told the guys before, it's special because you guys got to go this year, and now we could make something of it.
Definitely, and hopefully that will continue tomorrow night on Wednesday when we face Ball State, 7 p.m. inside the Gates Center. Ball State, one of the top teams, if not I believe still the top team, ranked number 1 in the conference right now, only having 1 loss, which they just suffered at the hands of Grand Canyon, who we then usher in to Arnie Ball Court on Friday and Saturday. What is it about playing these 3 conference matches in a 4-day span that is not only vital to the team, but also to how we prepare going forward?
Well, it's a contrast of styles, sadly. Ball State is a ball control volleyball team, and they don't make a lot of errors. That's why they win. I think their block is good and their defense is very good, but their serving is very conservative and soft. But they manage to win because they keep the ball in play and they can block and play defense. Grand Canyon wants to jam everything down your throats. They only know 1 speed, and that's part of the reason why they have lost a lot of their first night matches, but then come back and bounce back night 2 and beat their opponents. And they beat their opponents pretty handily, by the way, 3-0 or maybe in 4, if
True.
that.
We saw that happen most recently this past weekend against McKendree, and then it happened earlier in the season on the road at Lewis as well.
And they throttled Lewis the second night, and they throttled McKendree the second night. We've got to be very careful about that. But they're contrasting styles. They're very important volleyball matches, obviously, for us. Ball State's trying to keep pace with Ohio State. Both of them have 1 loss, I believe, in the conference. Ball State beat Ohio State, and they got to get ready to play each other for the big showdown for first. And for us, it's about, A, getting into the postseason at the number 9 seed, getting out of the 9 seed. But with wins, we can climb up to as high as 6, maybe even 5. So it's a big week of volleyball, and at this time of year, Jordan, everybody wants to play. No one wants to practice anymore. You know, the weather's starting to turn nice in Fort Wayne. People want to play. And I think by playing these at least 3 matches in 4 days here, 5 in the next 10, I think that will really help our guys feel energized and good about themselves about playing volleyball as opposed to practicing it.
Definitely, especially since, you look at our team, we're coming off of a spring break trip. Ball State was just out in Arizona playing Grand Canyon, and then also into California, and then Grand Canyon being in Arizona itself. We've all kind of been traveling a lot recently, so that kind of neutralizes that playing field. So it really will come down to who can put it together in between the lines at their respective match times.
And Ball State did not play very well on their road swing. They got crushed by UCLA. They were a little shaky with Grand Canyon.
And they even went 4 this past weekend at home against Mount Olive from Conference Carolinas.
Yeah, so they're kind of a little shaky. Hopefully that's the case when they step into the Gates Center tomorrow. We've been playing pretty well. As I say, we've had some tough matches in Puerto Rico, which is good, but we got to play a lot of people. So, I think this could be a very good matchup for us on Wednesday.
Definitely, and we look forward to that, and we look forward to you guys at home joining us inside the Gates Sports Center on Arnie Ball Court for our matches this week. Once again, we face Ball State University Wednesday night, 7 p.m., and then we take on Grand Canyon University Friday and Saturday night, 7 p.m. inside the Gates Sports Center. Anything else you want to add, big guy?
And by the way, in between the matches with Ball State and Grand Canyon on Friday is what?
Thursday.
St. Patrick's Day.
Thursday.
St. Patrick's Day is Thursday. Can't wait for St. Patrick's Day.
Exactly.
It's a full week of activity here at IPFW. It's great.
Exactly. You never know what you're going to get here. A big thank you to our sponsors, IAB, Indiana Physical Therapy, Molten, O&E, and Pizza Hut. For our guest during the Spotlight segment, sophomore outside hitter Alex Harthaller, Headman's volleyball coach Ryan Perrotte, I'm your host, Jordan Armstrong. Thank you for joining us here on VolleyDons Weekly on CTV.